ever feel like you're stuck? Like every choice you make is the wrong one? Yeah, today we're diving deep into those no-win scenarios. And get this, we're taking inspiration from, well, Star Trek.
Sounds crazy. Maybe not. We'll be looking at Star Trek's Kobayashi Maru. It's this test they give Starfleet cadets, and it's designed to be unwinnable.
Okay, so for our listeners who don't speak Klingon, what is the Kobayashi Maru?
It's basically this legendary test, forces these cadets into impossible situations. The whole point is to see how they crack under pressure.
And the article we're looking at today takes this sci-fi concept and relates it to real-world problems, especially for project managers. They miss deadlines, budget's gone wrong, that kind of stuff.
Right, and it's a pretty cool comparison because it gets at how we make decisions when things are going haywire. No easy answers.
And the article gives 8 tips for how to handle these scenarios. We probably won't have time to go into all 8, but let's hit the ones that'll really resonate, the big ones.
Definitely. And I think, the most obvious one that we all struggle with, staying calm. It sounds simple, but when that pressure's on, our brains kind of short circuit. Stress hormones, all that fun stuff makes it real hard to think straight.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like that moment you realize you hit reply all on an email that maybe you shouldn't have. Total system meltdown.
Exactly. Your body's in fight or flight mode. So recognizing those signs of stress, that's key. Then you can figure out what works for you. Maybe it's breathing exercises, maybe it's a quick walk, whatever it takes to hit pause before you react.
So basically, don't go full Captain Kirk yelling at the computer.
Right. You got to find that different path. And that kind of leads into the next big tip, communication. And it's not just saying, hey, we have a problem. It's how you frame it. Got to encourage everyone to work together.
So less, we're doomed, and more, okay, team, what do we do about this?
Exactly. Clear, concise, everyone on the same page. That way, everyone can tackle the challenge together.
And this whole finding a way forward thing makes me think about the agile approach the article talks about. And just so everyone's clear, we're not talking about gymnastics here.
No. Agile's all about being flexible, being able to adapt, which in a no-win scenario is kind of the name of the game, right?
Yeah, because if things are already going sideways, being rigid just isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
Actually, the article had this crazy example. Imagine a software project, right? And right as you discover a major flaw, a key team member quits. Double whammy.
Oof, that's brutal.
Yeah, talk about a no-win scenario, like trying to steer the Titanic away from the iceberg with a teaspoon, You need to adapt.
Exactly. And that's where that agile mindset comes in. It's about rolling with the punches, changing course when you have to, finding a new way to reach your goal.
It's like you're not just married to the plan anymore. You've got the plan, sure, but you're ready to change it if you need to.
Right. You wouldn't, use a paper map on a road trip and refuse to change your route, even with detours and stuff.
Right, in no way. I'm all about that GPS life. But how does that actually work when everything's on fire? It's easy to say, be adaptable, but when you're staring down a deadline, the team's freaking out.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole different story. You got to shift your thinking. It's less, we planned this, so this is what we're doing. More like, okay, how do we use this new info and still hit our target?
So it's more like you're a guide, not just the captain, right?
Yeah.
You're helping everyone weather the storm.
Exactly. And that actually takes us to the next big thing from the article, prioritizing. Because in a no-win scenario, it's like there are fires everywhere.
Okay, I'm getting a very vivid and kind of terrifying mental image here.
Right. You're juggling flaming torches while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. It's a lot. So you got to figure out which crisis you deal with first.
Right. Which fire are you going to try to put out first?
Exactly. Take a breath, step back, assess what's the damage going to be with each problem, what can wait, what absolutely cannot wait. Then you can prioritize, focus your energy on the big stuff.
So it's less about putting out every fire and more about picking the ones that'll burn the house down if you don't.
Exactly. That's how you stay in control when it feels like everything's chaotic. There are historical examples of this, too. Think about wartime leaders, generals on a battlefield. They didn't have all day to make decisions. They didn't have all the information. They had to adapt, constantly prioritize, make hard calls with what they had.
Wow. When you put it like that, it shows that these principles really do apply everywhere, not just project management or Star Trek. Just life, period.
Precisely. And that brings us to what the article really stressed and what I think is the most important thing, learning from what happens. Because even if you make it through a no-win scenario, even if you do everything right, there's going to be consequences, right? There are going to be things you look back on and wish you'd done differently.
So you're saying it's not about beating yourself up for not getting that win. It's more about taking that experience and growing from it.
Exactly. When it's all done, take some time to think it over. What worked, what didn't, what blindsided you. That willingness to look back and analyze, that's what makes the difference between just surviving something and coming out stronger on the other side.
Like that saying, smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. Those storms, those are what really test us. They help us get better.
Exactly. It's about looking at those challenges not as failures, but as chances to really learn and grow.
This whole conversation, it's got me thinking. I always figured if you plan enough, you can avoid those no-win situations. But maybe that's not how it works.
Yeah. Life, it's kind of like that Kobayashi Maru test. Throws you a curveball right when you think you've got it figured out. It's not about if it'll happen, it's when.
So are you saying we should be looking forward to these moments?
Not exactly looking forward to them, but, well, maybe see them as a chance to test ourselves. See what we can handle, like a test of our skills.
Instead of freaking out.
Right, exactly. Every challenge, every tough choice, it's a chance to learn, to adapt, and really to figure out what matters to us, what we're all about.
So it's not just about making the right decision, but understanding why you make the choices you do when the pressure's on.
Yeah, it's about your values, what's important to you. It makes you ask yourself, what am I willing to fight for, even if it means giving something up?
I never thought of it that way.
Mm.
It's like these tough spots, they force you to show what you believe in, not just talk about it.
You got it. Putting your beliefs into action, even when it's hard. That's what matters.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive. Started with starships, ended up with some serious self-reflection.
That's the thing about these challenges. They're universal. Doesn't matter what you do, where you're from, we all deal with them. They teach us all something.
So to everyone listening, next time you're in that no-win scenario, remember those Starfleet cadets facing down the impossible. Don't panic. Talk it out. Adjust. And most importantly, think of it as a chance to learn and grow. You got this.
And remember, there's not always one right answer. Sometimes the best you can do is make a choice with the information you've got, learn from it, and keep moving.
That is the perfect note to end on. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep facing those no-win scenarios head on. You've got this.